A new red carpet disaster for Meghan Markle, whose appearance at Highbrow Hippy, which is the hair care brand that she's an investor in, alongside her colorist, Katie Lee, being slammed as both creepy and weird by the Royal News Network. And I'm joined now by Brittany, the editor of that brilliant channel. And oh my goodness, Brittany, this was just completely bizarre. Another appearance without Prince Harry, and she was acting goddamn strange. Certainly not at all in a regal manner. What was going on?
Yeah, so this was a launch of a brand apparently Meghan Markle has invested in, and this is an established hair care salon. It'll cost you about $550 for a coloring. But this whole situation with Meghan and her behavior just continues to get rather bizarre. She's becoming even clingier to other people, not just Harry. And it just comes across as like, is she real? What is she? What's she doing? It's just all comes across as so strange, a little creepy. And it's like, what are you doing? She doesn't even have this sort of decorum you would expect from someone who's even spent a smidge of time with the royal family, because I have met Kate very briefly, and I was very starstruck, but also very conscientious of the fact that she was royal. And Meghan just doesn't come across that way at all. She just still comes across as very much a D-list celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, I was really interested in some of your reporting about her body language and actions during some of this Highbrow Hippie event. Let's take a quick look at some of it.
But it's good. I can thank you guys so much for being here.
And you can actually see this is Meghan Markle right there.
I don't know if we have the words of gratitude, at least I don't, to express how much each and every one of you guys mean to us, and I am not going to cry.
So if you'll actually notice here is that Meghan Markle, let's see if we can get it, is actually clinging to this guy right here. And he also sells hair care products at this particular salon. And so Meghan Markle's clinging to his shoulder. Why? I don't know. It's just weird. And of course they have a gospel choir singing. Don't know how gospel they actually are. And so then you got this. And I wonder,
And Brittany also tweeted about this. Yikes, the behavior gets creepier. What on earth is Meghan Markle thinking? She needs to figure out how to act with a bit of decorum, and for her age, this behavior is so odd. Meghan Markle has this weird thing of clinging to people like a 12-year-old girl. This ridiculous pose makes her look desperate, insecure, and performative. There's a way of sharing closeness without needlessly clinging to people. Also, it seems like she's keeping with the trend of making horrible business investments. The idea that she's some sort of entrepreneur is an absolute joke. Every public investment she's made is with a company that has limited growth potential, a niche side of an overly saturated market, and all have limited scalability. She needs to find a new career. As she promotes someone else's business, it also brings up the question if she'll ever get her own off the ground. It's been 8 months and she has nothing to show for America Riviera Orchard. It makes her seem wildly incompetent as a businesswoman, and her lackluster investment strategy does nothing to alleviate that. And Brittany, I thought that was brilliant analysis, which of course you no longer get in the mainstream media, because the mainstream media of coverage of this event was, oh wow, Meghan looked so incredible. How amazing is Meghan's new business? I mean, the Daily Mail is now so far up this woman's behind. It is completely bizarre, that total 180. But I want to pick up on a little bit of what you've said there, because there is a real issue, isn't there, that she has now diminished her standing so significantly. She turns up to a really low-class event for, let's be honest, a low-class product. And she is diminishing her own brand so significantly because it's no longer an exciting proposition for anyone to sign her up.
Exactly. I think American Riviera Orchard, whatever future it has, it's looking increasingly dim because she's going and promoting someone else's business, which is actually very small. She's only adding 2 products. They're very expensive. Most people wouldn't be able to afford $206 for a couple of, hair and beauty supplements and a scalp serum, is my understanding. So she has these products that she's helping to promote, but I'm like, but where is her own business? She should have this business ready to go. And yet she looks, I think, constantly distracted and distractible because she should be focusing on American Riviera Orchard, yet she's promoting this product and that product. It's like, but what about your own products? You need to have a company to actually grow and make money at the end of the day. And so this appearance just struck me as just so incredibly bizarre and over the top. And I've watched Royals for a really long time. I just don't see Royals ever behaving this way. It's just strange. It's cringy. I don't think makes her look like something or someone who is very investable at this point, because she just sort of looks like somebody who's desperately clinging to anything she can and is willing to invest, but only really for, you could say, her own gain in terms of she wants freebies from someone or something.
Also, Highbrow Hippy, I mean, even just the name shows you how out of touch these people are, right? Highbrow Hippy, I've been to these types of parties in Los Angeles. These people are horrible. They're not actually having fun. It's all, as you say, a performance. It's all to show for the cameras that we love each other, that we're all supportive of each other, but it doesn't feel at all real. And I just thought Highbrow Hippy is actually how Meghan would view herself. And that's why she is failing, because being a highbrow hippie means that you think that you're above the rest of the world.
Oh, they absolutely do. And that's the thing with Hollywood, is that it's such a shallow place. Every relationship is essentially transactional. I'm friends with you because maybe at some point you might be useful to me, and vice versa. And that's how the whole ecosystem there is. And so Meghan Markle is very much a part of that. And you'll notice that many of her friendships follow that very similar pattern. She's friends with people until they're no longer useful to her, or she thinks maybe that they've overused her in some way and she can't really get a use out of them anymore. That's sort of the dynamic that exists in much of Hollywood. And most of these people, yeah, they're not really friends. They're not really that close, but they'll fake it. They'll do this whole display because it's all about the perception, the performance. It's not really about the actual relationships. And Meghan very much sees herself as this highbrow hippie. And you'll notice in the companies that she has publicly said that she's invested in are all companies that have products that are, you could say, sort of high end, that they're outside what most people can afford. And so she's not investing in, let's say, a startup that's really struggling, that just needs somebody to come in, an angel investor, to really help them. Says the Collective to even have an investor. And Meghan, I think, kind of called them and goes, well, I like your stuff and I wear it and I hope more people buy it. So can I invest in you? So hopefully more people buy and I make money. It's a very strange investment strategy in some respects. And so it's very much, though, all transactional. It is very fake, very shallow, very vapid, this world that Meghan Markle lives in.
It is, but it's clear, though, Brittany, that deep down, she's not comfortable at the moment. That's why we're seeing these very over-the-top displays on red carpets, when she knows that all of the attention is about the fact that, oh my goodness, here she is again in public without Prince Harry. The professional separation starts to look a bit personal, doesn't it? Because this is her brand. This is something she's invested in. Prince Harry's meant to be this very supportive beau. He can't be bothered to show up.
It's very true. And I've always said, since we got this line of, oh, there's going to be a professional separation, is that eventually that professional separation is going to become a personal one. It's just kind of tends to go that way. But she's very much without Harry. It just looks a little bit odd because they are salt and pepper. They're supposed to be together. And you wonder, is he really supporting her and everything? But I think at the same time, too, Meghan Markle, as she gets more insecure, as things aren't going well, especially as American Riviera Orchard goes through trademark hell, I think she tends to like to just cling to people. That's sort of how she gets her, I guess, comfort blanket or something, is by clinging to people. And she can't cling to Harry, so she now has to cling to somebody else. She's constantly clinging, no matter where she's going. She needs to cling to
I
someone.
mean, should we almost feel sorry for her, Brittany, the fact that Harry seems to have ditched her pursuits, or does she deserve that?
Wouldn't say necessarily that she deserves that, but I wonder if the stress of everything they're under does have this impact. They are going separate directions professionally as an indicator that they have, as a couple, publicly, in terms of business and everything, have failed. That's why they have to go separately now, is that together they didn't work. And so as professionally as they go now, they have to separate. And so you have this obvious failure in the rearview mirror, and they're trying to right the ship, you could say, because they have a massive mortgage, they have a massive upkeep, they have a massive security bill, so many things that they burden themselves with, that every setback, I'm sure, generates more and more tension in the household. Because I mean, they've lost 20 plus million dollars, you could say, maybe potentially, with Spotify, millions more with Netflix, most likely. And so they're out quite a bit of money of what they could have made. And so they have to be starting to get a little concerned, because I don't think the deals are coming in anymore. And Harry's basically going, I'm going to be a philanthropist. I'm not even going to work really anymore, because can't really make money being a philanthropist. So he's basically given up having any sort of job. And so she's now the sole breadwinner. So their dynamics in their relationship have to be shifting. And I don't think necessarily in a good way.
Exactly. So it's on you. Making the money is on you, Meghan. Mm-hmm. And then we were just looking at that first public appearance of the couple in 3 months. Now, according to Taz on the show last week, said that there was more warmth between two polar bears. It certainly was an awkward appearance. And given, Brittany, this was a big deal. I mean, this is the first time we've seen them do something official on camera for such a long time. Were you convinced by this?
Not really. I actually felt like this was some of the most awkward stuff we've seen from them. And the awkwardness really became apparent during their CBS interview in August. That's when it became beyond apparent that something had gone wrong. And yes, every couple has their fights and has their moments, but most professionals are able to compose themselves, at least on camera. And Harry and Meghan could not do that. Neither one of them seemed to be able to do it. And this most recent appearance, you could tell, like, there was a line, I think it was maybe together or something, that Harry looked like, oh, that was my cue. And he put his arm around her. She didn't acknowledge him, didn't react at all. And they just looked very strange and awkward together. There wasn't, I mean, it was a very serious event, so sometimes those things are hard to gauge, but it also didn't seem like there was much warmth between them at all in that video.
No, and what's interesting is the argument that we're always told from people close to Harry and Meghan is that the reason they attend events separately is so that one of them can stay at home with the children. But that didn't necessarily look to be the case over the weekend, because Prince Harry, surprise, surprise, ends up in Canada for an appearance that no one had been expecting or predicting. Have a look at this. And Lady Colin Campbell has posted some really interesting information about this, Brittany, which I want to read, and then I'll get you to respond off the back. She writes, the bongo bongo drums have been beating about Prince Harry's quick in and out appearance at the Canadian Cup final last night in Vancouver prior to the Invictus Games. Games being held there and in Whistler from the 8th to the 16th of February. Harry looked very nervous. My impression was that it was all forced enthusiasm, possibly because it has been made clear to him Meghan is not welcome, and her presence will be a blight on the games if she does attend with him. Let's see what happens. And Lady C goes on, yes, let's see, especially as how the rumours that they're on the verge of partying are louder than ever. So will she attend, if only to defeat the rumours, while also availing herself of the irresistible lure of the spotlight? I, for one, don't believe a word that emanates from anyone associated with them, especially the two of them. Hopefully Dan Wootton will cover this with one of the many excellent guests he has on his excellent show, Dan Wootton Outspoken. Well, Lady C, I absolutely will. I've got Brittany here, and Brittany, it is fascinating, isn't it? Because Canada and the Invictus Games don't want Meghan there. This surprise appearance was without Meghan, and so the big question is, will she show up to Whistler?
I mean, it is a huge question. And I've had sort of an interesting going theory that I'm wondering about is that in some ways, yes, I don't think they particularly maybe like her presence because Meghan Markle distracts from the games themselves. All the coverage goes to her, none of the competitors. And the only way the Invictus Games can survive is if it reorients back to the competitors and their stories. That's what's compelling about it. Meghan Markle is just kind of a distracting sideshow. And so to not have her there, I think would be a benefit to them. But at the same time, I think her presence also brings media eyeballs that the games wouldn't normally get otherwise. So I feel like they're almost stuck between a rock and a hard place because they don't probably really want her there. Yet at the same time, her presence gets them more attention. And so I don't know if we can say for sure definitively whether she will be there or not. She was definitely there for the promotional event earlier this year, and I think it was about February. And so she may come to the games for a shorter period of time yet again, but the games I think are somewhat beginning to struggle. They obviously need a lot of influx of cash from Canada in order to put these games on. So it'll be a question, I think, of whether or not they really find Harry and Meghan to be beneficial to the promotion of the games or a deterrent. It's unclear now at this point where it's going to go. But if you look at the lineup for the musical guests, at least for me, I don't really know any of them, or a couple of them are, musical stars that are like 20 years behind the trend. So it'll be interesting to see how the reaction to the games is, because I don't think they're getting a lot of people in the seats.
I know. It's really interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. But again, these separate appearances and then an awkward video, no wonder Lady Colin Campbell makes the points that she does. Now, Brittany, really, really disturbing news about a major security scare that could have put Catherine, William and their young family under threat at Windsor Castle. So we're going to talk about that in just one moment. So don't go anywhere, Brittany. But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some can even be harmful to your skin. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? So he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. It's almost like Photoshop for your face. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view, Lake told reporters. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public. It's free, it's uninterrupted, and he'll outline exactly how to use this simple solution from home. Dr. Lake commented on the video, if this helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, I'll be thrilled knowing I helped. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer even commented, best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you. So you can find out more about this yourself right now. go to bhmd1.com/outspoken or click in the description box below. So that's bhmd1/outspoken. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asked from his viewers. If you're watching this video and it helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim as youthful a look as possible. So I'm just going to repeat the website address just so that I get it right. bhmd1.com/outspoken. Or it's much easier if you just click in the description box below on YouTube and Rumble. But now, back to the show, and breaking right now, growing concern over the security at Windsor Castle after the Sun front page revealed today that masked raiders struck on the estate as the Prince and Princess of Wales and their children slept in their home nearby. The newspaper reports that 2 men scaled a 6-foot fence at night to steal farm vehicles, and a source said they must have been watching Windsor Castle for a while. The fleeing thieves used a stolen truck to smash their way through a security gate at the royal estate. 2 masked men drove off in a pickup and on a quad bike that was stored in a barn. Now, news of this break-in comes after the Sun on Sunday revealed armed police were removed from Windsor Castle's 2 main public entrances, though gun cops are still thought to patrol the grounds. But Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network, this isn't good enough, is it?
It is not. It's crazy that this sort of security breach happened, especially just a couple of years after a man scaled the walls of Windsor Castle trying to get to Her Majesty the Queen in December. So you have these 2 big security breaches within just a couple of years of each other. It's a clear indicator that something is obviously going wrong or that they're trying to figure things out. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, especially that this is sort of a public exit that people can apparently get to, and it's not too difficult. And did they have anybody on guard watching this at all? It just seems absolutely crazy that these guys were able to get out with like actual vehicles and everything and cause so much damage, and that there's not security presences there to protect the future head of state and another future head of state. That just seems absolutely crazy to me, especially given all the, historic properties there as well. The damage that they could have done was immense. And of course, Catherine and William and the kids just sleeping so close by as well. It's quite a scary incident for sure.
Yeah, really terrifying, absolutely terrifying. I've reported a number of royal security scares over the years. I think things have gone downhill, and it is a real worry, and they've got to step up. They really have to step up, because it only takes one of these things to go wrong, and doesn't even bear thinking about. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.